Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm coming to you with another first impressions video. And as you can probably see from the workbench here, I do have my wife's pink AR-15 out here. And there is a reason why I had to take this to the range tonight, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I took two things to the range. One thing I was very successful with in getting all of the footage filmed, and the other one I was not. But we'll talk about that and why. But let's talk about the one I was able to finish tonight, okay? And it's a suppressor review. And the suppressor I took to the range, and I want to make sure I get the model right here. It is the OSS IFM6 Gen5 5.56. So this is a 5.56 suppressor. As you can see, it's kind of a big boy. And this is the reason why I had to take my wife's AR to the range, because most of the ARs that I typically shoot for in like reviews and stuff are ones that are either SBRs that have handguards that come out almost to the end of the barrel, or I have a couple that have pencil barrels. Like one of my favorite ARs to shoot is my Colt 6750, which is the lightweight barreled 16-inch AR-15. Love that gun. However, this suppressor attaches in a very unique way. It's a direct thread suppressor, but it has a large portion of the body that goes over the barrel. And you really need, although I don't think you technically need to have it, it's designed to be put onto a kind of a government M4 profile barrel. And so, by the way, I have looked this up, and people do say that you can attach suppressors on YouTube now. So I've watched a ton of videos, recent videos, and according to YouTube, it is not against the rules, okay? So, but we'll just have to see. But anyway, so this suppressor goes over the barrel, and it screws on direct thread, and let me show you here. So as you can see, it's kind of an interesting idea, and it's why it's so long. And it uses the OSS, or I guess now Huxworks, kind of flow-through technology, or like the low resistance stuff. But this is the only AR-15 that I kind of had available tonight that I could easily get to without digging through the safe that has an M4 style barrel. So I took this one to the range to review this suppressor. So I know it's going to be kind of goofy to have a pink AR in a suppressor review, but the color doesn't matter. It's still an AR-15 on the inside, okay? So took this to the range, and I got some interesting results. I know you guys have not seen many of my suppressor reviews, if at all, because most of them have not been, actually, all of them have not been released to the public. But if you're a member of my Patreon, you have probably seen one or two of them. But I'm trying to figure out kind of like my groove with them and what I test and what I don't test, because I don't have the equipment to test the decibel reduction. So I test other metrics like tone, kind of gas blowback into your face, you know, especially when it comes to these cans that are supposed to be kind of flow-through technology instead of using traditional baffles. I test their heat resilience, essentially see how hot they get and how hot they are after 5 or 6 minutes. I also test if they change the ballistics at all, and also the point of impact. So other things that I think are important to people that are interested in silencers. But one of the things that my friend Jack recommended, because you know, he's learned a lot of stuff to the channel, he gets to see all these videos early. He says, hey, you have two tests that are separate. One is a point of impact shift test, and one is a ballistics test with a chronograph. Why don't you combine the two? So I tried that tonight, so we'll see. But anyway, hopefully when all these videos get released, you guys will like them. But I wanted to give you a first impressions of this suppressor and what I experienced. Because it is so big and large, I was expecting its tone to be pretty good. And it was. It's a good sounding suppressor, but out of all of the OSS or Huxworks suppressors I have reviewed to date, I think this is my least favorite, because it is so large and so heavy, in that when I'm shooting, especially if I'm not shooting it from a barrier, I found that this was hard to get a good group with suppress because it weighs down the front of the gun a lot. So you're using a lot of strength just holding up the gun as steady as you possibly can. I mean, it's not like it's like super heavy or uncomfortable or anything, but when you have this big weight on the end of a barrel, it's like a lever, it's pushing or pulling to pull down. So I didn't like that. I don't think it really suppresses all that much better than the other suppressors that are in 5.56 that I have recently reviewed. I'm also very disappointed with the flow-through technology on this one because the other Huxworks and OSS suppressors I have reviewed have been really good. They really do reduce the gas coming back through the gun. This one doesn't do it at all. I mean, I smelled it, my eyes burned. It was a little bit on the disappointing side compared to the other ones because some of the other Huxworks and OSS suppressors have been amazing. This one just for some reason wasn't. So maybe this design of going over the barrel, and I'll take it apart in the range report, show how to clean it and how it all works. But it doesn't work like the other ones do. So I was disappointed in that. And the other thing I was disappointed with in the ballistic and point of impact change test, let me show you the results. Now I will say that consistently with the 6 or 7 reviews I've done so far, what always pretty much happens with 5.56 that I have personally discovered is the ballistics for the most part remain the same. Typically, the suppressor increases the velocity just a little bit, but not enough really to say, it's significant. But the point of impact is often different. Usually I get the same size group on a different part of the target, and it's typically a little bit lower. That's just been my general experience. However, this is the first suppressor I have reviewed where I got this result. And this is at 25 yards. And I saved this target because it's definitely different than all of the rest. So here on your left, you have the unsuppressed group. So there you go. Now that was just using a red dot, okay, 25 yards. You see the size of that group, 7 rounds. And now let's take a look at the suppressed. And it's going to be on your right. And look at the change in that group. I have not had any other suppressor change the group like that. I have never had it get that big at just 25 yards. So this one is different. As I said, I've had a great time reviewing suppressors, but this one I am the most disappointed with. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that kind of first impressions, and I really can't wait for you guys to see my suppressor reviews, and I hope it adds diversity to my channel. As I do a lot of firearms, and I call them Range Report product reviews because they are products, they're not firearms, but it's a range report. Anyway, it kind of blends the two. But I put them in my regular weekday releases. But hopefully when they come out next year, you guys will see them and enjoy them and get information from them that maybe you don't get from other reviewers, because they're definitely in a different format. Not a huge change, but definitely a different format. The other gun that I took to the range tonight, I guess I can get it out here. And I was excited to get this one to the range, but I did have a slight issue with it, and this is going to be the B&T APC300. Now, no, the issue I had nothing to do with its function. It had to do with supersonic versus subsonic ammunition. It does have an adjustable gas block, but for some reason at the range I was not able to move that gas block. So I had to figure out how to do that. There's not really like a big slot here to put your finger or to get in there to adjust it. Maybe my fingers are just too fat, but I was at the range and I supersonic ran fine, subsonic kind of short stroked. So I'm like, okay, let me open up the gas block, and I can't get my finger in here to adjust it, and none of my tools are like the right size, and of course I don't want to damage it. So obviously I got to figure out a way or a quicker way to adjust that gas block. So I need to look into that and then take it back to the range. So it wasn't like a terrible experience or anything. It was just I couldn't adjust the gas block easy. So that's definitely something that I am going to have to talk about in the range report, because if you have this gun, you might want to go between supers and subs, and being able to adjust this quickly would be awesome. So I see that there's a little detent in there, but I was assuming, because the way it's designed, I should be able to adjust it with just my finger, but no, it's not. And that's just using my pinky. I guess my fingers are just too fat or something. Anyway, I got to figure out how to adjust that gas block. So, and then I'll just go back to the range. As I said, it's nothing like terrible or anything, but through the supersonic ammunition I put through it, ran great, sounded awesome, and it was accurate. But I just got to figure out how to adjust that gas block. So I wasn't going to sit there at the range and possibly damage. I was like, I'm going to go home, get the right tool, figure out how to adjust that quicker at the range, take it back, and redo it. So anyway, that's the other thing I took to the range. But what do you guys think? Kind of an interesting night. It took me a long time to get all that done. But so hopefully I'll be getting on this suppressor review. So anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. So let me think. What could the word of the day be? The word of the day is going to be... Man, so many good things. I'm going to say group. Group is the word of the day, because with the OSS suppressor, the group got way bigger at 25 yards, where I was super awesome unsuppressed. So there is the word of the day. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you're a Patreon supporter and have seen one of my suppressor reviews, tell me in the comment section on this video so other people can know that maybe they're not that bad. So anyway, thanks for joining me here in the garage, and thanks for going on this journey through firearms with me. I love guns. I love shooting guns, reviewing guns, and most importantly, learning about the history and the mechanics of guns. I'm just absolutely fascinated by it. I think I just have kind of a mechanical mind, and so I love learning about how they work. That's just the coolest thing about them, the engineering side of it. But anyway, so thanks for joining me as always, and thanks for watching.